glorious evening.
The camping area is across the road from the iconic Linville Hotel, which I'm sure we'll get to visit over the course of the weekend. As you turn into the camping area, you are confronted by the old Linville railway station, with its station house and some wagons and carriages of a bygone era. But more about that later. There is something special about sitting around a campfire after a busy day. Whether it's a work day or holidays, it still has the same calming effect. Well, at least it does for us. Well, welcome to Linville. As you're aware, Liz and I tour around a bit and do these little weekenders. We've started to document them so we can share them. And this is typical of a little Queensland country town. One of the things that we get excited about is start to dig around and find a little bit of history out about these places. And some of it's quite interesting, actually. If you take Linville, for example, it was nearly called Linton. Back in 1841, three brothers purchased some land out here and called it Co-Linton Run. And as things developed, eventually in about 1901, they wanted to relocate the town. The townsfolk wanted to call it Linton, just drop the CO off the Co-Linton, in memory of the first lot of people that were out here. But the postmaster, he got involved, and there was actually a town called Linton in Victoria. Unfortunately, the townsfolk lost, the postmaster won, and they ended up negotiating, and the town was eventually Linville, and here it stands today. using Linville as a base, we do a little day trip. The road follows the upper reaches of the Brisbane River and crosses the road stacks of times before turning off and heading up and over a range and through numerous farming properties. First stop is Nanango, where we check out this quiet little town, followed by a short drive out to the Palms National Park. This is the smallest national park in Queensland. Then head back through Blackbutt and arrive back in Linville. Should be a great little drive. As we head through this magnificent countryside, the place is a picture postcard. It's so green and alive. We are truly blessed to live where we are and be able to share our backyard. Located appropriately in Fitzroy Street, the Fitzroy Hotel was built in 1913. It is the oldest hotel building in Nanango and has remained unchanged. It's a near perfect example of what a Queensland country hotel was like before the outbreak of World War I, and is one of the 3 historic buildings in town that survived a devastating fire in 1940. It did have its own little fire, but was spared. In 1927, fire broke out in the stables at the back of the hotel. Only the wind blowing in the opposite direction saved the pub. This life-size sculpture is of solid blue gum. The detailed work vividly portrays Peter Rossiter, a Ukrainian immigrant with his possessions, who spent 30 years at the 7 Mile diggings just down the road. He supported himself by selling eggs and vegetables, which he transported in his wheelbarrow. He became well known in town and was sorely missed when he died in 1934. The next stop is Tipperary Flat, situated at the southern entrance to Nanango. It has a well-equipped picnic area featuring a walking trail, leading visitors around the historic displays with informative interpretation signs provided. In the early days, Tipperary Flat was used for sports days and get-togethers with other families who lived close by, and the name originated from the first settlers who came from Ireland. Adjacent to Tipperary Flat is an existing stand of bunya trees, a special icon of the natural and cultural heritage of the South Burnett region, which acknowledges the original inhabitants.
Turn the tide, let the water go where it wants to go. You can run and hide, you can bury yourself beneath the stone.
Welcome to the Palms National Park and Day Use Area. The Day Use Area became known as Bouldery Park, and the location became a popular spot for visitors. It was named after Charles Baldery, who was born in Maryborough in 1890. His father and brothers owned properties and businesses in the Yarraman and Kuya districts. Charles purchased a block of land about 8 kilometres east of Kuya, and in 1927 he donated just over 5 acres of his property to the former Shire Council. He wanted the site to be protected so that people would always be able to visit and appreciate its beauty. Over the years, other parcels of land have been added to this national park, but it still remains Queensland's smallest park at 12 hectares.
Way up there.
The main feature of the park is a spring-fed gully filled with piccabeen palms. There is a short walk which also includes a belt of subtropical rainforest with strangler figs, bunya pines and hoop pines also predominant. As you stroll through this magical vine forest, your senses are filled with the sights and sounds of birds, frogs, bats and other wildlife.
What's that noise, John?
That's the mating call of the piccabeen bats.
That's a big tree, John. What have we got here? Oh, it's a eucalypt. Yeah, good stuff.
And now we're heading into bloody rainforest now. This is bloody amazing. Ooh.
Bats obviously don't like this segment.
The what, sorry?
But the bats don't like
No.
it. They're not many of these trees.
No, they're not any of these ones at all.
And the big fronds that fall down.
Just as we walked out of the rainforest, we disturbed this yellow spotted monitor, or at least I think that's what it is. Let me know in the comments if I got it wrong, as there are gould and sand monitors as well. He was happy to pose for a few photos, then we left him in peace. An interesting fact, they are primarily terrestrial, spending a great deal of time on the ground. Despite this, they will eagerly forage in trees and water in order to get food, and are pretty bloody quick over the first 50 metres.
It's amazing.
Well, we'll leave old mate to feed, and it's time for us to head back to Linville. Well, here we are at the Linville train station. Well, the year was 1910, and with the extension of the Brisbane Valley Rail line out to Linville, the timber industry started to grow, with the sawmill opening in 1912 and logging continuing to be an important industry until the 1950s, when cattle grazing became the predominant local industry. In 1920, some of the land was allocated to returning soldiers, some of whom set up dairy farms in the area.
They're chewing all the time.
Ah,
That's
yes.
just a bit, yeah.
I never thought I'd see camels in Linville.
Yeah. That's right.
That's
After a busy day, we cleaned up and headed over to the pub for dinner. This is the perfect rest and rehydration stop for us. It suits our quick weekend getaway with delicious pub meals, a full bar, back deck and lawns to lounge in. So it's a couple of quiet Linville lagers. Yes, they brew their own beer, a lager and a draft. Tonight we were entertained by a local bloke with his guitar, playing that little bit of country and some rock thrown in. As we waited for our dinner, the full moon appeared over the eastern horizon. What a sight. So it was go, go, go to capture some images before it got too high. It's not every day you see camels, but how good is this, that these trails can be utilised by all. There were heaps of bike riders this weekend. There was even a lady with her horse, and of course, the camels. There are even some holding yards at the back of the area to secure your horses. Welcome to the Linville Hotel. The hotel itself dates back to 1887. It's been moved 4 times by bullock train before arriving at its final spot in the small town of Linville. Rumour has it that they never stopped serving beer during all the moves. With stacks of memorabilia in the form of photos adorning the walls of the bar and the dining room, showing the history of the pub and local area. Oh well, all good things must come to an end. We hope you've enjoyed this little jaunt out into the countryside, a couple of hours drive from Brisbane. If so, hit that like button, drop us a comment. Liz and I are always happy to answer any questions. Until next time, stay safe and remember, don't let the dust settle. Cheers.